Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of July 18th, 2022. I'm Catherine Alecko, and I'm here with Terri Morrow.
Hello.
Nicole Eridix is off this week, so it's just the two of us talking, complaining, and obsessing. This week we're complaining about road trips, and we're obsessing about annoying our teens and young adults. Always.
Week and every week.
We also take a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. Today we're talking about family purchases and who's in charge of them. So, in your household, you recently bought a car, as we have discussed a little bit here.
Yes, old car totaled, new used car purchased, mostly at the direction of the young man. My son is super into cars. He knows every make and model. He's not interested in what's under the hood. He's interested in the trim packages and what kind of key fob it has. And, he knows all the different levels of every different car. So when he's been lobbying for a better car for quite some time because our cars were all very old.
Right.
And so when given the opportunity to select a new vehicle or a new used vehicle, he was on it.
Right.
And immediately told us we needed to get a Chevy Trax and looked around at all the dealerships hither and yon in our area of New Jersey, of which there are a lot, and picked out the one he thought we needed to get. And my husband and I were like, oh, yeah, sure, honey, but we need to shop around. We need to go look at a whole bunch of them. And he's like, this is the one. Get this. So, the idea of shopping around and looking at a whole bunch of cars is appealing, but the actual doing of it is time consuming. And then you have salesmen from a whole bunch of different places calling you up.
Yeah.
And so at some point, my husband and I talked about it, and it's like, you know what? Good for him that he's done all this work for us. Let's just get what he says, and then he'll feel good about it. Let's give him the win, I think we said. And I think my husband was just as happy not to have to keep going out to places. So, so he pretty much picked our car. I don't know if I would have selected exactly the same. I probably would have picked a different color. I definitely would not have gone for the LT package, which he felt was, not under discussion. We needed the keyless entry, the keyless ignition, the remote start, all the fancy stuff. We had to have it. And it's like, well, fortunately, probably I'm not going to be driving this car that much. A young person is going to be driving it. So, but it still scares me. I'm still freaked out. I like to put a key in a slot and I like to turn it. See, children, when in my day, there was a crank. And you turn the crank. No. But it seems to me like just one more thing to break. But you know what? He was very firm. And he would not consider the other models that were a couple $1,000s cheaper but did not have those perks. So basically he picked out our car and forced us to buy what he wanted. And I'm strangely okay with that. So it got me thinking about, is this odd to allow the young adults to make major purchases? I also, when we needed a new washer and dryer, I told my husband and my daughter to go out and do it because they're the ones who use them. They might as well pick them out. So she helped pick that out. And I think when we needed a new living room set, I just said to my husband, take the kids, go pick something out. What do I care? And they did a very good job. I like what they picked. But if I didn't, I probably wouldn't complain because,
because you didn't have to do it.
Cross it off my checklist and put it on somebody else's. Excellent.
Yes.
There are so many things I cannot delegate. If there's something I could delegate, if my son had chosen a Lamborghini, I probably would have had some words. But a gently used Chevy Trax, sure, honey, good picking.
And he had, reasons,
He did. And he, explicated them to me in detail.
Indeed.
Repeatedly. All right, you're a little slow, Mom. Here's why we need to get it. Let me list these things again, how important these are. So it's like I'm, kind of liking this thing of having young adults that I can say, you know what? Here's my budget. If you can pick something within it, that's what we'll get. If it's appropriate. And I don't. The only problem I had with the washing machine washer and dryer they picked is I was afraid it wasn't going to get through the door. It seemed to me that the measurements of the item on the receipt were in excess of the doorway we had, but
Right.
Washing machine delivery people work in mysterious ways, and
They were able
it
to.
was not an issue at all.
Nice.
It just was like I was are they gonna have to like take the door apart? Are they gonna have what are they gonna do?
Right.
It's just like all of a sudden they're setting it up, and I'm like, how did you get this in here? So I don't want to know.
have their
Don't
ways.
ask. Just
Yeah.
step back, Mom. They did a good job picking.
Yeah.
So have you allowed your teen and young adult to make major purchases for the family, or are you a little more protective of your rights as the person paying the bill to be the one making the selections?
We haven't had too much occasion for it. I mean, but I will say that when we were getting our daughter a car, it seems to me that my husband pretty much picked it and said, this is what you're getting. I mean, there may have been a little bit of discussion. I mean, I checked out 100%. That's not true. We happened to be at the mechanic, I think for something else. I can't remember exactly why we were there and why, like, the entire family was there. I don't know. But they had this old Fiat van. Like, who knew Fiat even made vans? But it was like, sort of, how Fiats are kind of like mini Coopers. Like, they're just small little things. And this was, like, just slightly extended so that it was like a van. And everyone was like, oh, this is so cute. Look at this. Look at this. And I was like, that is a tin can. There is absolutely nothing like that will crumple if you blow too hard. I mean, it just looked so unsafe. So nobody was seriously considering it, but I was
veto.
Like, no, that is not gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So, but then, the car, my husband, did all the research and picked out the car. And then I actually picked it up because it was at a dealer a little bit far away. And I got a friend to go with me, and we road tripped there and picked up the car. And then she drove my car back, and I drove the new car, and that was all fine.
Right.
And then that car got totaled a few months later.
Oh no.
But yeah, then once again, just repeat the same, the same process.
Yeah. Well, it can also be delegating purchase responsibility to your spouse, I suppose.
Yes.
Just anything that gets it. I mean, number one, we get off the hook and don't have to deal with it. And then number two, we can later on say, well, I didn't have anything to do with picking it out. Hey,
I wasn't the one who picked it.
You guys are the ones who wanted it. So, win-win.
Yeah. Yeah, then when we needed a washer and dryer, we had to pick entirely based on what would fit in our
because you have that
space, and it
sort of modular
still didn't
situation.
work. So
yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, my son has some interest in, like your son, like not actually driving the car, but some interest. I mean, he likes to watch, Formula One and stuff.
Oh, that, yeah.
But when it comes time, if it comes time to get him a car, I think it'll be a little more of a joint effort between him and his dad. But I, once again, will be nowhere to be found.
Right. It's a male bonding thing. Yeah. Get a car. It'll be great. Don't spend more than this amount without checking with me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think it can certainly be a win if you're comfortable with whatever the outcome may be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I can't think of too many things I wouldn't mind somebody else picking out, as long as it's not something for me personally.
Right.
I mean, like, I was the one responsible for picking out all the kitchen appliances when we replaced the ones that were truly, I mean, they would have been totaled had they been cars. They
Right.
just, everything just stopped working sort of at the same time. But I'm not really all that satisfied with what I picked. I think I got, preyed upon a little bit by a salesman who sort of upsold me. And it seemed like a good idea, but we're not really fancy appliance people.
Right.
So we have these thumbprint marred stainless steel appliances that I can't quite seem to clean off. So I'm like, maybe somebody else should have chosen these. I should have put my daughter in charge of it. It would have been fine. It could not have been, much worse than what we have, and it probably would have been cheaper. I have a hard time making big decisions anymore.
Yeah.
I get decision paralysis.
Right.
So it's really better for somebody else to just say, how about this? Let's just do this.
Right.
Why don't we do this? And it's like, you mean I don't have to spend 5 hours looking at things on the internet and then looking again and then looking again and then being unsure and then looking again the next day and then not being sure and then researching everything over and over again?
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, the one drawback to having my husband or my kids or whoever, my husband definitely he'll want to, divert some of the responsibility by, showing me, okay, this is what I'm going to get. Are you okay with it?
Just do it and then let me yell at you for not checking with me.
Yeah, he's covering his bases for that one. So
yeah. Well, we can keep working. And the thing, I still have to deal with the insurance, and I'm okay with that. But if I could get somebody to be in charge of what little travel we do, in charge of making the reservations, and in charge of picking the place, so that I don't feel the pressure of doing that, and then every time somebody's unhappy, I feel like it's on me.
Right.
And then I resent it, and then so it's, not a super fun travel experience for Mom. If somebody else did it, then I could be that person.
Right.
This doesn't look very clean. The hotel was okay.
Then you need Nicole. This is where we need to deputize Nicole to come in and make our travel plans, because she's
absolutely
she's good at it, and she has standards.
And somebody outside of the family who can be blamed when things don't go just right.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. This is what we need more of in our lives.
Right.
As a huge truck drives by outside.
Well, next time I have a big purchase to make, I won't call you.
No, please no. Don't let me
Maybe
know.
Nicole. But that's going to be it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment-themed round 2, and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.